Hello. Well, it's been a week now since I made the video of the plot that you're about to see. As I've said, it's the top end of the plot. The other end of the plot, I'll make the video another time. Now, most of the food that you see there has been harvested. All the sweet corn has been harvested and eaten. Yum. The tomatoes are coming along. We'll probably get the last of those in tomorrow because there won't be a lot of ripening going on outdoors now. It's just too cold. The night temperatures are dropping really low here. And I wanted to explain a little bit about blossom end rot because I was wittering on about it and didn't make it clear exactly what I meant. So let me just show you what it looks like if I can work out how to do this. There we go. Nasty, isn't it? It goes about halfway through the tomato, so most of the tomato is inedible because of it. We didn't get it on every single tomato, fortunately, but quite a lot of the larger tomatoes had it. And it seems it's due to a lack of calcium. So in other words, the plant isn't able to absorb and use calcium that it needs to produce good fruit. And the reason for that is said to be a lack of water. Now, the reason I was so amazed that it was happening to those that I'd watered was because I'd read that if you water them, it wouldn't happen. And that's not what happened. But I can only think that they didn't get quite enough water, and maybe their roots hadn't gone deep enough, whereas the ones I had watered put their roots down deeper and found some. But I don't know. So next year I'll relook at that and try growing them differently. But we still got loads and loads and loads, so I can't complain. And another thing I didn't make clear was the runner beans will finish soon anyway. Because they won't survive the frost, though we might get a few more on there before we have to take the plants down. They like sunshine too, and they won't get that now. So even though they're flowering, it'll only last a little while, but there will still be more. So without further wittering on, let me show you. Well, look at the sweet corn. I'm really proud of it this year. It's the first time I've ever grown sweet corn that has done so well, and I haven't a clue why. The weather obviously was very hot and it must have liked it a lot. And I didn't manage to water it at all. So I'm really surprised that it grew so tall and we got so much sweet corn on it. Certainly try again next year. I've noted the time that I planted it in case that makes a difference. But I'm sure it's the weather. Look at that cob. It's so lovely to have fresh sweet corn. Even if it doesn't really work that well, just to have a few really fresh sweet corn is just amazing. Tomatoes have done really well this year, to be expected by the heat. They do like some sunshine and not too much water. I've got some lovely ones coming along there. Just about time that they'll be finishing soon, so I can take them in if they've not gone red and ripen them indoors. Have had a bit of a problem with blossom end rot, and now some of them are splitting because of the water, as you can see there. Blossom end rot is on the ones that I watered, which were the ones at the top of the plot by the sweet corn, because that's where the water butt is. So I can only presume that I made a bit of a mess of it by watering but not watering enough. Cabbages have been a bit of a disaster, really, apart from the ones I started off early, as you can see here, and gave them cover. I'll do that again next year. I think that works very well. Beans, runner beans, well, they've done marvellously considering we haven't been able to water them very much because there's no water on the plot except for water that we collect in the barrels. It's been a really good year. And now it has rained, as you can see there, they're flowering, and we're going to get another lot of beans. Runner beans do freeze very, very well, so I'm very pleased about that because we'll have them all through the winter now, and of course fresh ones as we go along. Even more tomatoes. I do like a good tomato crop because I like to bottle them and make sauces and freeze the sauces, because it's amazing how many tomatoes you can get through. I probably won't grow so many next year because I bought a few more plants because I thought, as I said earlier, that I'd lost some. So yes, next year it'll be a bit of a rethink about everything. But it is lovely to see all these tomatoes. I've got jars and jars of passata in the larder, and it is a lovely feeling. This is going to be a trial bed. I'm going to try composting in situ so that I haven't got to lug compost around from bins to plot, but I don't know whether it'll work. I'm just trying it out. Now, this was a bit of a disaster. It makes me giggle every time I see it, but I'm still angry with myself because this was meant to be climbing borlotti beans. I do like borlotti beans, fresh or dried, but instead I planted dwarf seeds and couldn't understand why they weren't climbing up the pole. Hence, very few borlotti beans this year. We did get some, but the dry weather didn't help. So next year I'm going to be really careful as to which seeds I'm sowing. Here we've got more tomatoes. There's tomatoes everywhere. Don't need quite this much, but I've been experimenting with different ways of growing them so that I can see which works best and which ones don't fall over, because I do have a problem with not being able to pinch out side shoots as much as they should be, and then the whole thing falls over. So yes, it's all a bit of a trial and error. These are white beans, giant white beans. I absolutely love them. They're like really fresh butter beans, which you can dry if you want to, but I prefer to cook them and then freeze them cooked. So cook them with some garlic and some tomato or whatever you like, and then put them in the freezer cooked. So there'll be time to harvest those soon. Because as you can see, they're swelling nicely now and the pods are starting to dry. So I might get 2 different lots on that one. So that's the productive part of the plot. I'm saying productive because I'm still working on the other half of the plot. So at a later date, I'll do a video on the other half of the plot and what's going on there. These are tomatoes. I've got to talk about this because I'm sowing them up the poles where the peas were, and they're doing really well. Back to the beans and up to the top of the plot. Different ways of growing tomatoes I've been trying just to see which works best in this very stony ground. And as I've said before, very, very, very pleased with the sweetcorn harvest this year. More tomatoes, tomatoes, tomatoes everywhere. And I think the sheep in the field are very happy as well that there is now grass. I don't know whether you can see a couple of sheep over there, but it's been so dry there's not been much for them to eat, but now the grass is growing again. So all is well. Bye for now.